Hi, this is Annie of ByAnnie.com and Patterns by Annie. Thank you so much for joining us today for Live with Annie. As usual, we've started the stream a bit early. This helps us get everything set up and broadcasting properly to our various platforms. You can find a countdown clock on the screen showing how long it will be until we actually go live. While you wait, please connect with us and other viewers in the chat. Let us know where you are from and whether you're a new or longtime viewer. We'll see you live soon! Thanks again for joining us for Live with Annie. We are so happy to have you with us today. While you wait for the program to start, we hope you'll enjoy the content playing on screen. There's so much inspiration, so take a moment to tell us what you love in the chat. Don't forget there is a countdown clock on the screen so you know how long until we go live. reminding you that we'll be going live with this week's episode shortly. There is a countdown clock on the screen showing how much time is left. You've got just enough time to grab some water or a beverage of your choice and a snack, and to connect with us in the chat. We'd love to hear what you've been working on this week. Hi, I'm Annie of ByAnnie.com and Patterns by Annie. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 24 of season 4 of Live with Annie. In today's episode, we'll visit with Linda Arye, founding president of Quilts for Kids, to talk about their international charitable program. We'll also showcase a great new line of fabric from QT Fabrics called Delightful Dreams. This bright, colorful fabric was designed by a very talented teenager, Josie, as a way of giving back and encouraging other kids facing cancer. QT Fabrics is generously donating 50% of the proceeds from sales of this bright and cheerful fabric to Quilts for Kids and other programs. We are so very proud to support this program, and we can't wait to tell you more, so stay tuned. If you enjoy these episodes, please take a minute to follow us wherever you're watching. And if you know someone else who you think might enjoy the info that we share, we would really love it if you'd tell them about Live with Annie. The easiest way to do that is to just tag them while you're watching. That will take them directly to the episode so they can watch it too. Also, we love reading your comments, so please be sure to interact with us throughout this presentation. We want to know what you think, and we love learning from you too. If you've got any questions, put those in the comments or chat, and we will do our best to answer them before we close. So last week we talked all about base stabilizers and showcased a variety of ByAnnie patterns that use them. If you missed that episode or want to watch it again, remember that you will find all the previous 161 episodes of Live with Annie on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, or at ByAnnie.com. And we have put up all the links to make them easy for you to find. Okay, a quick drink of water before we get started. So late last year, we were approached by our friend Tiffany at QT Fabrics asking if we would be interested in collaborating on a special charitable project. They were announcing a new line of fabric called Delightful Dreams, which was designed by Josie, the daughter of one of their salespeople. This talented 13-year-old was on her 4th round of cancer treatments at St. Jude Hospital, but she was not letting that hold her back. This was the 3rd line of fabric that was designed by Josie, and Delightful Dreams was Josie's way of giving back and encouraging kids like hers. As I said, a full 50% of the proceeds of sales of Delightful Dreams is going to go to Quilts for Kids. Quilts for Kids is a nonprofit organization that's dedicated to transforming fabrics into patchwork quilts to comfort children facing serious illness, trauma, abuse, and natural disasters. Sadly, Josie lost her battle with cancer earlier this year, but her spirit lives on, and I cannot wait to tell you more about her, Delightful Dreams, and the projects that we made using this fun line. We are also happy to have Linda Arye, founding president of Quilts for Kids, with us to talk about their organization and how you can help support this worthwhile endeavor. Linda was recently recognized as a hometown hero by ABC News for her work with Quilts for Kids. Please help me welcome Linda to Live with Annie.
Hi, Annie. Hi, everyone.
Hey, Linda, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to have you with us here today. And we really appreciate that you made time to be with us and also for founding Quilts for Kids. I thought we'd start by playing a short little video that tells a bit about Quilts for Kids as a way of introducing you and the organization.
Perfect. Cute, right?
I love that one.
That's the back. And it's got the numbers on the back.
When I started Quilts for Kids, I never expected it to get this big so fast. I was an interior designer and I was putting an order in for a client. I was surprised that the showroom was filled with discontinued fabric samples in these giant industrial-sized trash bags. Some of this fabric was hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and they wanted to throw all the fabric out. I asked if I could have some. And the minute I said, what am I going to do with it, this light bulb moment happened. I remembered a time when my daughter Molly was hospitalized and couldn't have her bear with her because of allergen issues. And I thought if we could take this fabric and turn it into patchwork quilts that could go through a washer and dryer, that there would be no allergen issues and somebody else's child would feel comforted when mine couldn't. And now we have chapters of Quilts for Kids in just about every state. We're an all-volunteer organization. It becomes almost like a big family gathering when we do our workshops.
Carolyn, Marilyn, and Marilyn. Sue. Sweet Sue.
We only have 2 rules. Have fun making a quilt and fill it with love, because all the love shines through when you wrap it around a child.
The quilts that we're making are going to be donated to St. Christopher's Hospital for Children. They really appreciate what a complete stranger does to help comfort them. Dun, da, da, da.
And it's such a feel-good moment when you walk in and you give it to a child. For those few minutes that they have that quilt wrapped around them and it's a cape, you would never know they were sick.
What's this guy doing?
Looking for treasure.
Looking for treasure. Having a quilt is companionship. And we wouldn't have been able to reach 30,000 children in 1 year without the support of Downy.
You want to give me a countdown? Well, Linda, that is just a tearjerker movie, I have to tell you, and I know we're going to have a few more moments like that today, but I was so impressed to see what you have done with Quilts for Kids, and I think my favorite part of that was hearing that the only rules are to have fun making a quilt and to fill it with love as all that love shines through. I really think that's a great message and really applicable to any project. I can only imagine how proud you must be to see how Quilts for Kids has grown and impacted so many lives.
Well, really all my heroes are the people that are watching you right now, and people like you who are giving of yourself to promote this wonderful organization. If I had to do it on my own, I'd have 3 quilts made, but when I started, it was because fabric really bothered me being in landfill. And I never expected it to get this big. And I was certainly assured by friends that this was the dumbest idea they'd ever heard of. No one would ever make a quilt for a child, and that I should pay somebody to do it. And that's about it. But they didn't know about quilters. They didn't know about you guys who are listening. They didn't know about shop owners who do workshops for us. They didn't know about people like Annie who promote what we do. 24 years later, we have saved millions of pounds of fabric from landfill, and in the process comforted hundreds of thousands of children in need globally with quilts and other items. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah, no kidding. That is just amazing. I can just imagine how overwhelming it must have been to see all that fabric and to know they were just going to throw it away. So thank you for rescuing it and putting it to such good use. Do you continue to get fabric that way?
Well, a turning point for us was in 2007 when the US government decided not to bail out the textile industry, and manufacturers took the product offshore. And all those 18-wheelers that showed up with fabric that was donated kind of went away. We still have fabric samples that are donated from companies that still manufacture what we call headers or fabric samples. But for the most part, what happened was we needed to figure out how to raise money to buy fabrics, especially the fabrics that children want. You know, a lot of kids play sports, and when they're in the hospital fighting a life battle with an illness, they can't. So we want to get them sports quilts. We want to get little girls who say to me when we deliver quilts, "Do you have a fairy princess quilt?" I want to get out fairy princess fabric and ballerina fabric and turtles and all the things that these kids ask for. So the fabric companies that supported us, I had requested that they give us their discontinued samples, reduced pricing, and anything that they could do to partner with us so we could reach more children in need yearly. So to all the individuals and the businesses out there who help us comfort children in need every day, thank you.
That is really wonderful, and what a great way for them to see that fabric being put to use and make something so warm and comforting. Let's talk a little bit about Delightful Dreams, because that was kind of the impetus for this. So this is, again, a line that Josie designed for QT Fabrics. And I, again, am so impressed that they are giving a full 50% of proceeds from this to Quilts for Kids. That is so amazingly generous, and what a blessing that must be for your organization. I am really sorry that I never had the opportunity to meet Josie. She had so much talent and energy for such a young girl. I can only imagine the loss that all of you must feel. So can you tell us a little bit more about Josie and her efforts to support this?
When Josie went in the hospital, she received quilts from us. And we had conversations with her dad about how about if I send some quilts, and would Josie like to hand them out to the kids in her unit, which she did, and she loved doing. And I gather there was discussion with one of the salesmen who had been battling cancer, talking to QT, saying, Josie's battling cancer. Why can't we do a fabric line to benefit Quilts for Kids? And QT agreed. And it has never happened in this industry that really all the proceeds, and we say 50% because they have to pay for the fabric wholesale, but 50% is enormous. QT is the most generous company. And the fact that Josie was so artistic and such an adorable little creative young lady who battled this illness for so long. And I was so excited that she decided, and there's a picture of her all decorated. And, you know, when you lose your hair and eyelashes and things. We see children do this where they draw on their own eyelashes and things. And she was like this little, I want to say nymph in the most loving way, because she was this creative, gentle, kind, bubbly personality. And there she is holding the new fabric line sample. And she had touched my heart and taught me so much. And the fact that she passed away just a month or so ago was heartbreaking to me. But it's really the lesson that I learned with all the children that receive our quilts. We do what we can, and we make their time in the hospital or battling other issues in their life a little bit better. And the reason we only have those 2 rules, Annie, about filling it with love and having fun is these kids tell me they feel that love all the time. So
I can only imagine. So go ahead and go down a little bit, Hawk. We've got lots of information in our script from stuff that we're going to cover later, and I forgot to take them out. But I know how gutted I was when I got the email that Josie had passed, and I can only imagine how that must be for everyone that knows her. But I'm really hoping that we can help keep Josie's dream alive by making projects with her fabric and helping support this really worthy cause that's going to help lots of other kids in need too. So I thought I would start today by just showing you a few of the projects that we've made, which will help showcase the fabric. So the really bright colors and whimsical designs that were in Delightful Dreams, we thought were really perfect for models of some of our newest patterns. And one of them even made the front cover of the pattern. So this is our pattern Drop Zone that makes handy zipper trays in 3 sizes. And Delightful Dreams made a really fun set that I think would be perfect for kids, teens, crafters, really anyone who likes color. Unfortunately, we don't have the models here to show you in person, as we've had so many requests to borrow them for trunk show, but I hope these pictures will inspire you to make one your own. I bet you can really see someone special in your life who would love a fun set made out of Delightful Dreams. We also made a set of our cut it out scissors cases using the fabrics, and they would be perfect for anyone who wants to protect and store a favorite pair of scissors. Or you could add a pair of paper scissors to one and give it to a child to encourage them to use their scissors rather than your special fabric scissors. As we made projects using Delightful Dreams, we were really inspired by Josie's art and energy and the stories of how she delivered lots and lots of quilts to other children facing tough times. So we focused on projects that we thought kids, including kids in the hospital, might appreciate. And so one of the first ones that we made is our pattern Catch-All Caddy. This would be perfect to hold a variety of art and craft supplies. You can easily carry it from place to place when getting treatments, or it's a great addition to any room of the house. And there are just lots and lots of ways to use this handy organizer. For someone who might be using a walker or a wheelchair, our pattern Sidekick makes a really great organizer to hold personal items. So it's designed to fit over the bars on a walker, but it could also work on a camp chair or even a hospital bed frame. It has a variety of mesh and quilted fabric pockets, and it's dimensional, so you can put a water bottle, a book, your glasses, and other things like that inside. I'm just going to lean that back. Actually, I'm going to put that back on there so it stays standing up. Then we also did a fun little grab some grub. So this is the perfect way to carry a snack or lunch, but you could also use it to carry a variety of toys or craft supplies. And it's got a spot for a name tag in the back. You can also substitute chalkboard fabric for this front border and then leave a message of hope and inspiration for someone special. We also all love using our electronic devices, and I'm sure any kid is going to have a laptop or an iPad or something like that. And so here are our eye cases designed to protect and carry devices of all sizes. So these go from small enough to carry a little iPad mini to big enough to carry a laptop. And I think we used almost every fabric in the line to make these. So we featured different ones on the inside This one with the stars I thought was really fun. And I really loved using this multicolor stripe for the coordinate on all of them to tie them all together. And finally, who wouldn't love a fun, colorful backpack for taking to school, doctor's appointments, or on fun trips? So this is our pattern Out and About. It includes instructions for just a small backpack, and it has padded straps that are designed in 2 sizes, one to fit kids or small people like me, another for regular-sized adults. It has lots and lots of pockets and compartments. There's even a hidden pocket right here where you can put your phone, which I really love, but that is a really fun and versatile little backpack. So we were really thrilled with all of these projects that we made using Delightful Dreams. I hope you'll be inspired to make something fun using it too. And again, remember, 50% of the proceeds are going to go to Quilts for Kids. So ask for it at your local quilt shop or look for it online. Note that the first shipment of this fabric won't be until late July, so it's not in stores just yet, but that gives you some time to plan what you want to make and get ready to sew. And to make it easy for you to find the fabric, QT Fabrics provides us a list of stores who have bought the fabric today. We have added that to our website, and I want to walk through the steps of how you can find that. So the only way we can easily add PDFs is to put them in a course. So if we've put it in the course for today's live. So to find that, first go to ByAnnie.com and sign in to your account. Then click on the Learning tab that's at the top and scroll down and click on All Courses. And then in the Courses search bar, not the one that's at the very top of the page, but the one that's kind of partway down, type in Live and hit search. And you'll see that all 4 seasons of Live with Annie will pop up, so you can easily watch any of them right there at our website. So this is season 4, so click on season 4, which is the current one. And once you've reached the course page, click on Join this course to access all the content from this season. So in the past episodes list, you are going to see a PDF icon next to the heading named S4, which stands for Season 4, Episode 24, and it says PDF, Quilt Shops Carrying Delightful Dreams. And when you click on that, you'll be able to view that list. So one thing to know, if you are ever in the courses or any of those things and trying to act something and it's gray, that's because you didn't remember to click Join on Course. You only have to do that once. Once you've done that, the next time it will show that you're enrolled, but you have to do that so that you can access anything that's gray, and then it will turn blue. So keep that in mind. Keep in mind too that this list is as of this week. So if your local quilt shop isn't on the list, tell them about this very worthy cause and ask them to order it. They can still get on the order for October delivery. And if you are a store owner, remember it's not too late to do that, and so please participate in this program. You can order the fabric line by July 15th, and that will get you on their second order delivery date, which will be in late October. And as Linda said, QT has been really, really generous with this promotion. It would be really wonderful if we can all band together to really honor Josie and help make her dream come true. Remember too that all the models that we made using Delightful Dreams are available for shops to borrow for trunk shows. Customers really appreciate seeing ways that they can use fabric and seeing our models up close and personal. So just go to ByAnnie.com/trunk_shows, and that will give you the form to request a trunk show. All right, Linda, can you tell us a little bit more about quilts, what Quilts for Kids does, so people know what all this money is going towards?
Sure. So what we do is we, through volunteers, make quilts, and we donate them to children from birth through age 22 who have life-threatening illnesses, children of abuse, children of poverty, all the natural disasters like the tornadoes, the floods, the fires. We also found ourselves donating when the families came back who were the interpreters for our soldiers in Afghanistan. Those families were given quilts through United Way. We also have found ourselves giving quilts to children who are here from war-torn areas like the Ukraine. So we really try to gift to children in need, period.
That's awesome. I understand that you have a video from the warehouse that kind of shows what everything looks like there. Can we play that now?
So it's the video from Quilts for Kids from our shop, and it's in our holding room.
I keep calling it a warehouse because that's my mindset here, but holding room sounds great.
You know what? Maybe one day somebody will give us a warehouse filled with children's fabric so we don't have to buy it anymore and don't have to raise money.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Go for it.
Good morning. I'm Linda Arye, and I am the founding president of the charity Quilts for Kids. And welcome to the Quilts for Kids holding room. This room is our magical room because it fills up with quilts that you lovingly send in for us to donate to children in need, and then it empties out. And it is because of you, our volunteer quilters, that we are able to make a difference every year in tens of thousands of children's lives who are fighting a life battle with an illness, poverty, all of the devastation that hurricanes and fires create. We just want to be there and turn tears to smiles in children going through a very difficult time in their life. And we want to thank you because really you're our heroes. Without you, we wouldn't have a room full of quilts to send out. And without you, it wouldn't magically fill up again. So let me give you a small tour of what we're talking about here. And so we have quilts that go everywhere from Head Start to this whole section's for boys. And then you have your girls section. And it is such an incredible experience to be able to open the boxes every day and see all the wonderful gems that you send us. And we couldn't do this without our partners like QT Fabrics and without people like Josie, who was a child that received a quilt from us in the hospital when she was fighting cancer. And she created the most exquisite collection of fabrics to benefit Quilts for Kids. So please know that we greatly appreciate our shop owners, our volunteer quilters, and our partners, and wishing you a happy and a healthy day every day. And thank you for thinking about Quilts for Kids. If you need us, we're quiltsforkids.org, and we thank you. Bye-bye.
That's really wonderful. I love seeing all those quilts. It must be like Christmas every time you get a new box of them to come in and see what's there and sort it and put it on the shelves and think about the child that it's going to go. So I want to know, how can we as quilters and makers help support the Quilts for Kids mission?
There are many ways to support the charity. One is you can adopt a box of quilts going to a children's hospital. You can purchase fabric from Quilts for Kids because we buy fabric to make kits, but we also sell fabric as a way to help pay forward the cost of UPS shipping everything. If you work for a company and they would like to raise funds so we can create quilts for your community, we can work with you to do that. Critical in this process is you, our volunteers. Not only our quilters, but all of you who donate funds during our annual appeal every fall and throughout the year. You enable us to be able to ship, because UPS is the most costly part of the charity, and you help us get these quilts where they need to go. So thank you.
That's awesome. Are there other ways that people can help, like by sewing quilts or by donating fabric? I know I've got tons of fabric that doesn't get used. Tell me how I can send it to you.
Well, you can use your stash of brightly colored, kid-oriented fabric to create patchwork quilts that you make of your own, because at Quilts for Kids, we always have pre-cut quilt kits that are for free for experienced quilters. They pay to have them shipped to them, and they pay to send them back to us. but that's an easy thing to do. Just remember that quilts need to be sewn and quilted on a machine with lots of quilting so they hold up to all the washer and dryer cycles the hospitals put them through. And you can always go on quiltsforkids.org. There's lots of information listed. Or call us.
Sounds like a great idea. I know I've got lots of kid-oriented fabric that I bet would be helpful. Do you want stuff sent to you, or do you want people more like making local chapters and doing stuff there? How do you do that?
Great question, Annie. We have chapters across the country. You could go to quiltsforkids.org, click on How to Help, and scroll down to all the states, find your state, find if there's a chapter there. If not, you can always talk to Pam in our office to find out how you start a chapter. If you're someone with a stash of fun child-oriented fabrics, you can, and you're not sewing anymore, you can send us those and we will pre-cut them into a quilt kit. And you don't have to feel guilty about not finishing your projects. If you have quilt tops that are appropriate for children, send them to us with a back so that we can get them out and, as quickly as possible. Just so you know, the fabric has to be new. It can't be previously used clothing or your child's drapes from when they were young. We are happy to send you a tax donation form as we are a 501c3. And if you don't sew, but you still want to help, you can adopt a quilt. A financial donation in any amount goes towards shipping quilts to children at children's hospitals across the country. And you can also spread the word. And you think that's a small gesture, but really spreading the word that Quilts for Kids is in need of fabric or funding and quilters makes all the difference for us. And just so you know, there's over 6 million children hospitalized with long-term hospital stays in the US alone, and we do international. So we really do need you.
Wow. That is a lot of kids, and that's a lot of quilts to make. And I was happy to hear you say that you can send a quilt top and backing, and then somebody else could quilt it, because I know for a lot of people that's the hang-up, is getting that step done. So I imagine just like people borrow or get your kits and make the quilt, you probably have people to whom you can send the quilt top, and then they finish the process from there. So.
And Annie, if they're at home sitting on a stash of fabric and they don't know what to do with it, or they're not sewing quilts anymore, but they've moved on to doing other crafting projects, they can send that fabric, not little pieces, but yardage, a half yard minimum. We'll pre-cut that into the kits and we'll send them out, and we'll get a quilt in their honor to a child.
That's great. Do you want the fabric to be pre-washed, or does that matter?
No, not pre-washed.
All right.
If it is, we'll take it if you already washed it.
Okay, it won't, it doesn't hurt, but don't have to, because that's kind of a stumbling block sometimes. I'm sure that there are a lot of shops and maybe Quilt Guild organizations watching it. Are there ways for organizations like that to help as well?
Yeah, shops can hold workshops or be a drop-off zone for Quilts for Kids. In addition to benefiting children with serious illnesses, the workshops provide added interests from customers and a higher foot traffic, which translates into more sales. Some shops act as a quilt drop-off location, and they regularly send quilts to Quilts for Kids headquarters, or there's something called Quarters for Quilts, and they just put out a cute little coffee container and put our logo on it and Quarters for Quilts. And every nickel really helps us with shipping all of your beautiful quilts out to children's hospitals and children in need across the country.
That's really great. Those are all such good ideas, and really there are so many ways all of us can get involved. That also makes me think about fabric companies who might want to help. because I know our audience includes lots of movers and shakers in the industry. So can you share some ways that fabric companies might help the Quilts for Kids mission too?
Well, fabric companies have been wonderful about when they have fabric that hasn't sold from an old line, sending it to us. Um, Sometimes, it's something that wasn't purchased for a reason. But what we really need is fun, brightly colored or pastel fabric. It could be blenders, it could be a juvenile print. Um, there's different ways that fabric companies can help. They sell to us at below wholesale many times so that our money goes farther. And I'm available to talk to just about any time. If any fabric company is listening and they want to do a fabric line to benefit us, kind of like what QT is doing, although what QT is doing is unheard of in this industry by giving us all their proceeds, and they're not making money off of this line at all. I'm happy to talk to any fabric company that would like to participate.
Well, this is such a fabulous industry. I am always impressed with the generosity of everybody that's involved. So thank you so much for sharing all those ways that we can get involved. Before we move on, again, please remind listeners where they can find you and more information about Quilts for Kids.
So quiltsforkids.org, just like who we donate quilts for kids. The 4 is FOR, by the way. Okay. And you could go to info@quiltsforkids.org, which is right there on your screen. You can take a screenshot. And if you send a quilt in and you'd like to pay it forward, just stick money or a check or whatever you would like inside a Ziploc bag along with your quilt, and we'll get it out to a child in need somewhere in the United States.
That's awesome. All right, looks like we've got some questions that have come up on screen from viewers, and one of them, and I don't know if you and I are going to be able to answer this, but someone said, I don't see any UK shops on the lists of stockists. Will Delightful Dreams be available in the UK? I don't know the answer to that. Do you, Linda?
I know that if you contact QT Fabrics, and I think it's just simply qtfabrics.com.
It is, yes.
I know they have international sales, so it could very possibly be there.
Great.
If they have
I do know that when I looked at the list, I didn't see any stores in Utah. I didn't see any stores in Nevada, which is close. And you can bet I'm going to be reaching out to some of the store owners that I know in both of those places to tell them about this and to get them, on the list too. So please look at that list that we provided today. And if your local quilt shop isn't there, go talk to them. And, if they just aren't going to get it, there's a nice long list there. I recognize lots of stores on that list as loyal ByAnnie customers and great stores. So you will be able to find it, but we would love to see that donation go higher and higher and higher. So the more we can do, the better. The next question was about the Netherlands, and again, I'm not sure there. So reach out to QT Fabrics, and I also will reach out to Tiffany and try and have an answer by next week. But in the meantime, that's a good way to find out. And someone wanted to know, for the Quilts for You, Linda, are there certain quilt patterns or sizes that you like to use or require?
Well, when we do our kits or when we show quilt patterns online, we make them really easy, but we love when we get in people's original quilts made of different designs, not just the 4-patch, a 9-patch, a pinwheel. A rail fence, an alternate square, which is kind of the easy ones that we have patterns for, which, by the way, are on our website. They're all about one width of fabric wide, because a lot of people don't want to piece them. And they're about 45 to 52 inches long. And if somebody is holding on to slightly larger quilts, go ahead and send those too, because we work with an organization called Beds for Kids. And they provide the beds, and we provide larger quilts for them, because these are children who are impoverished in our country many of them living on a dirt or a concrete floor, who get a mattress and we provide a quilt.
That's really awesome. And you know, even kids in the hospital, kids come in all sizes. And if you're going up to 22, I can picture a young man at 22 at 6 feet tall. So they're going to want more than just a crib size blanket. So that's really awesome that you've got that flexibility there. Another question was, is it okay to use flannel or minky in these quilts?
So if you're going to use minky, make it larger. And it can go to beds for kids, because the children's hospitals don't want anything that might, if the child's on oxygen and there's a spark in the winter from the polyester and the minky, the two don't work well together. So they would rather have 100% cotton back. I would also say that there is a national retailer with flannel that pills a lot. Get a good quality flannel if you're going to use that. We will definitely take it. Make sure, here's a big one, make sure your quilt goes through a washer and dryer cycle. And I always throw in a color catcher, because I don't want to work so hard on my quilt only to have it bleed when I didn't think the fabric wasn't, not fade resistant, but color fast. Thank you. But make sure it's gone through a washer and dryer cycle before you send it to us, so we can get it out the door right away.
Those are all really good.
Question? Can I say one thing to people that are watching?
Yep.
You're the one with the power. If you go to your quilt shops and you say, look, this is a company that is supporting an organization and willing to not make a nickel off of it, please bring it in. We want this in our local community, and we want to make quilts for children in our local children's hospitals using it. And in fact, ask the shops to do a workshop making quilts with that fabric, and then they can advertise that they've brought that fabric in. So I just think it's a win-win for stores. It's a great way to get more people in the door, sell more fabric, which they need to do in order for them to stay in business. And it's also an opportunity to let the press know that they and their community are doing something for children in need through Quilts for Kids.
That's right. It's just good all the way around. So as we wrap things up, is there anything else that you would like to share about Quilts for Kids or Delightful Dreams or your charitable efforts?
Well, I want to thank QT for doing the line. I want to thank Josie, and mostly I want to thank you and the volunteers out there who are watching, and other volunteers who will be watching, and just say thank you for what you do. We don't do this alone. It truly takes a village. So thank you, Annie. Much success in this line and in these patterns. Buy Annie's patterns.
Oh, thank you so much, Linda. Thank you for organizing Quilts for Kids. Thank you for telling us about it. Keep up the great work, and I hope we're going to see more of you coming up soon. So thank you for joining us today.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I hope you all enjoyed hearing about Quilts for Kids, seeing the projects that we made with Josie's Delightful Dreams, and again, that you will look for them at a local quilt shop near you. Please support Quilts for Kids, either monetarily or by sewing quilts, because as Linda said, your support is certain to make a difference in the lives of many, many people. As always, please ask for any of our patterns and these fabrics at your local quilt shop. These shops are such an important part of our sewing and quilting communities, and it is up to all of us to keep them strong and vibrant. If they don't have these, they can certainly get them. They can get the fabrics from QT Fabrics, the patterns and supplies from their favorite distributor, or directly from us, and we're always happy to set up wholesale accounts for qualified quilt shop retailers, so just ask them to contact us for more information. And thank you again to everyone who joined us today. We are going to be back next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Mountain Time with a really extra special episode of Live with Annie. Jade Newman of Lovely Jubbly Fabrics, our grand prize winner for the UK in this year's LQS contest, is coming to visit. You may remember that she was our guest in March, but this time she's going to be in-house, and we're going to have about a week together. We are going to sew, sightsee, and share ideas, and I've invited Jade to join us in the studio next Wednesday so you can get to know her better too. Jade is really a hoot, so it is sure to be lots of fun. I am looking forward to picking her brain about fussy cutting while she's here, and I'm sure we're going to be sharing some tips about that with all of you. So until then, happy stitching!